should disappear, you will find peace of mind. You look way down in your heart and soul. Now, here's a problem that I think a lot of people are having with a lot of, let's say, black women are having with interracial relationships, and specifically right now with interracial relationship relating to black men and non-black women. People are having a problem piecing together a kind of a idea of, well, if people are born in the same race, then they should be attracted to each other automatically. And in a certain kind of a world, that would have been nice, but that's not how it works. Maybe, unfortunately. Okay, people are attracted to what they see, and this is what I believe. I believe that we all have this inherent preference for a more Eurocentric kind of a beauty, whether you're white or not, whether you're black or not. We all kind of prefer that, and it sucks for many reasons. Because it sucks because most people are not European. Most people are not white. And some people have features that are similar. Well, most people have features that are similar in one area or another. Only black people tend to be the most like distinct, with a different kind of hair and different kind of a different hair, different very dark. Facial features are more big and broad, and so and flared, and so it sucks for people of color in general. But most people of color are non-white and non-black, because there are more than one race that make up people of color, and there's more than one race that uh, make up people of color who are not black and not white, as far as numbers. But some of these very people, they have features that are reminiscent of their Eurocentric ideal. You know, Mama, did you get dressed? Okay, just rest, ma. The Eurocentric ideal, and so they tend to have it somewhat better, but still there is still this envy of the Euro, of the straighter nose, and sometimes a lot of the times the blue eyes, the green eyes, the blonde hair, and the straight hair and whatever. And so those people tend to have it easier as far as not they don't have it as easy as white people, but they have it they have the looks privilege part of the whole thing that is also a part of white privilege, much better than black people who are way distinct, right? And are at the bottom of one reason, are at the bottom of the racial hierarchy. That's one reason, believe it or not. The looks thing, the beauty thing is a part of it. And so those people who are non-white and non-black don't have it as easy as white, but don't have it hard as black, where that is concerned, and pretty much where everything is concerned, because there is a racial hierarchy. There is. Okay, there's no going around that. There is. And so maybe I was trying to make another point related to that. Anyway, let me move on to my main point here. A lot of black women still feel that black men should only be with black women, and vice versa. A lot of people in general believe that races just should stick to their own race, And there's a lot of people who believe in either I'm going to be with my own race or I'm going to be with white. And maybe since they feel that way about most of black men too. But the thing about it is that it sucks that everybody belongs to a race, and only one race for the most part has one race is here to set the standards as far as many things, including beauty, um, for every other race that is not that race. And it's like there's like 4 or 5 distinct race on the planet, because I don't think that Indians and Asians are the same Asians, are the same race. So there's like at least 5 different races of people, but only one race of people is here to set the standard for beauty. Which, I mean, when you speak of standard, that's how it would have been anyway. Because when you speak of standard, it sets a tone for singularity. It says that um, there is like a paragon, one thing. It is the thing to aspire for. That's what standard tend to mean that. Okay, standard tend to mean that one thing. So if we're gonna talk, it would have been somebody. It wouldn't if it wasn't white people. It would have been Asians. It would have been black. It would have been somebody. So it's white people, and so now you have a lot of people of color suffer, especially black people, where the beauty thing is concerned. But people believe that you should only like your own kind, and unfortunately, that's not how that's not how the universe intended it, and that is not how it works on a psychological level. Okay, I know I've heard some black women say that, oh, you should like your own kind, and you should prefer your own kind, and you should think that your kind is beautiful. But it doesn't. That's not how it is. Because what people look and see, what people see is what they see. And even if the reason why they've formed an idea of something being a standard over the other is because they've been exposed to that other thing. And when they compare that themselves and their own kind or another kind to the other thing, what they see is that thing is better than this thing over here. Okay? Because you can't not see what you see. And when you look at something, if when you look at one thing over here and your eyes just automatically tells you that you prefer it than this over here, whether if that this thing over here is your kind or not, you're going to prefer what you prefer. You can't change your mind about what you prefer. And what I mean by this is, let's say there was a time in history where only black people existed and white people didn't exist. And maybe beauty, as far a standard of beauty, would have been only what you saw, which was black. But when something else come around, let's say white people came afterwards, and then black people saw white people, and then compare themselves to it, and say, well, this thing here is somehow better than mine. I don't think it takes brainwashing for that to happen. A lot of black people and a lot of black women thinks that the reason why we have this perception of a lot of black men, let's say, have this idea that non-black women are in general prettier. Is because of a brainwashing. It's because of what happened in slavery. Now, I do believe that these things, the brainwashing and the slavery thing, and the media thing, and images that you see, and how it's portrayed, and how it's set up in front of you, is I do believe these things play a part. It caused the whole process to be exacerbated, if I could use that word to describe it, right? But do I believe that that's where it began? Do I believe uh, that that we had the idea of beauty being more Eurocentric, solely based on being brainwashed in slavery? No, I believe you just look and see things and you prefer it because you just find it prettier. Maybe you just find it prettier. Maybe you just look at that thing and decide that that thing is actually prettier because that's just a perception you form by when you compare them. That's just what you see. Because I don't think you could brainwash somebody into finding something beautiful or not. Okay? It's just like with anything else. If I step outside and go outside and there's an overcast and it's about to rain, I don't decide that, oh my God, this overcast and and the dark cloud is is automatically more beautiful than okay, maybe I'm saying this wrong. Let me just say it this way. Nobody has to brainwash you to believe that sunny days with blue skies and green trees and 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 just like a nice weather is more beautiful than when there's an overcast and there's dark clouds and it's about to rain and stuff. You just step outside and you just don't like it because it doesn't appeal to you. It says to you that you cannot have fun. It says to you that it doesn't appeal to your eyes. Forget about the fun part and what you could do on a beautiful day versus a rainy day. Forget about that. It also says that really your eyes don't really like that your eyes just naturally prefer blue skies over dark clouds. And I'm not saying this is everybody because some people who are like gothic and maybe some people in general, um, which is the vast minority of people, may think that dark skies are more beautiful than blue skies with white fluffy clouds and stuff. But I promise you, at least 98% of people in the world prefer blue skies and white clouds and bright sun over a rainy day. People will appreciate the rain when it comes because it's the end of the drought. People will appreciate the rain. People will say, well, oh, we need this rain. And sometimes the rain can give you this cozy, cuddly feeling, and it's sexy time for some people. But um, is is the rainy day in general, on average, is it preferred by most people? No. And is the aesthetic part of it is a part of it too. It's not just I can't have fun today. I can't go to the beach. I can't go to the park. I can't go hanging. I can't go on a date because of this rain. It's also it's more beautiful because I look at it and my eyes say it's more beautiful to me. Nobody has to brainwash you to believe this. You don't have to be brainwashed to look. I mean, and just about anything else in the world. When you look at a car, a very new, brand new, beautiful, new model of a car versus the old, dusty, battered car, you weren't brainwashed. Okay, you weren't brainwashed to like that car over that car. You just look at it and know that your eyes prefer that the one in the newer model, the newer car, and the more beautiful looking car. Just because beauty is beauty, and nobody has to brainwash anybody to find beauty. Okay, it's just what your eyes see. It's just what your eyes say. Okay, it's just like that. See, I was watching Joe Rogan thingy with that guy God Sod or Sod God, something about being a god and Sod or a sad god, and and he was saying, he reminded me, well, he reminded us of a situation. I think it's the same situation, but there was this guy that did a study that found that, oh, black women are the least attractive women in the world. And this was done by a study. And I think it's the same. I started talking about this God Sod guy, not being sure if he's talking about the same situation that I'm talking about. You know, not sure if he's talking about the same situation, but I just started. But let me just talk about the study itself. The study says, oh, black women are the least attractive women in the world. Now, whether that is true or not is not for me to say. I'm not gonna say my opinion on any particular thing about that right now. But my thing is, this guy is using this study. It's just like the people that I was just explaining how um, you're not brainwashed to find beauty. Okay, it just appeals to your eye. And the same way, a study can't tell you what is beautiful. And this guy with this study is an asshole because he he is oh, he is talking about this study that was done to say that somebody, well, who needs a study to tell them what's beautiful? I don't need a study or any kind of a scientific whatever to tell me what's beautiful. My eyes will do that. Okay? My freaking eyes will do that. Okay, it's just like when they have those things measuring people's faces and they come up with this idea that this Bella, is it Bella Hadid, they say back in the I think it was last year or was it this year? I don't know. Says is the most beautiful woman in the world by the measurements and the symmetry and the whatever. I don't know what they call that thing. And then I think they said the guy, Patterson. I don't remember. I just saw an interview with him. Robert Patterson, I think his name is. That guy that was in, I think Water for Elephants was a movie. And I think it was in Twilight, but I didn't watch no damn Twilight, so I don't know shit about that. And said that he's the most handsome guy in the world. First of all, how the fuck excuse me, my mom is around. How you know that? How you know? Of course, the reason why you know is because of the measurements and the study, right? But still, how you know that you're not going to use these same measurements to find another guy in the world who's the most beautiful? Why is it? I mean, they always choose a celebrity, and I'm not one of these people who is going to get up and complain that they're always using celebrities for everything. I'm not anti-celebrity. I'm not pro-celebrity either. But I'm not. It's not about that. But how they know it's a celebrity? That's the thing. They always choose a celebrity for that kind of stuff. And the sexiest man alive is also always a celebrity. Like, how the hell you know that? How you know that the sexiest man alive is a celebrity? And how is there a sexiest man alive? And not only that, they choose one every year. They choose the sexiest man alive every year. How did he stop being the sexiest man alive in 1 year? And he's still alive. It's only 1 year. Did he get that ugly over the course of the months that it leaped over in the other year for you to choose another one? How the hell you know that he's the most is the sexiest man alive? Did you go all over the world to look at all the men in the world to come up with that? I mean, if you do that, then it wouldn't be done every year. It would probably do maybe every decade, maybe every 5 years. It takes some time for somebody to become ugly enough to not be the most sexiest person alive. Okay, it takes some time. But I digress a little bit. You don't need a study to tell you what's beautiful. That Asian doctor, I see, again, I'm not sure if he's the same guy that God's is talking about, but I'm going to assume it is. It was an Asian doctor. He was a gay Asian guy. Said that he had a study that says that black women are the least attractive women. And I'm like, people already established that. People already had that conclusion. People already had that perception. So you don't need to study shit to tell people that. People's eyes tell them what is beautiful, not this stupid little study. You see, and this is why people lack so much self-trust in this life. Okay? Because we're constantly waiting for some study and some statistics to tell us what is. While we're navigating the world, going and it's like, all right, it's like I saw this thing that said that, oh, Jamaica has, I think, 60 or 70 something percent black people. And in my mind, I came up with it's not a conclusion, but I pulled it's not a conclusion, it's not an assumption either. But I just know in myself that Jamaica is more than 76 or 70 whatever percent black. Jamaica is at least 89% black, at least. Wouldn't you say that, Mom? Mama? Are you listening to me? Wouldn't you say that Jamaica is at least 89% black? I don't even think you're listening, but whatever. Jamaica is more than 76% black. Unless they decide that all the light-skinned Jamaicans are not black. Unless they decided that, then that's the case. Most Jamaicans are my complexion, a little darker or a little lighter. Okay? Because most black people tend to be in my kind of range of brown skin. Okay? And then the next large I don't know, population of black people who are very, very black. The majority of black people are not light-skinned. Okay? So why they came up with this idea that Jamaica is 76% black, I don't know. I'm just saying this to say that I used my observation from when I was living my childhood in that country. I was born there until my late teens and I migrated to this country. My very late teens. And I went all over the country. Not all the time. I mean, I went on some field trips with my school. Well, I think it was not many field trips. I think it was just one field trip, by the way. Anyway, but occasionally me and my family would go to different states, whether they're going like if it's like a public holiday and decide they're going to drive to Montego Bay to go to the beach, or they're going to drive to St. Elizabeth to visit my aunt. I used to have an aunt living there in St. Elizabeth, Jamaica. Or they're going to drive to Kingston to go to the airport. I don't know. But I wasn't always in one place. I didn't go out very often, but I wasn't always in one place. And based on those experiences and the fact that where I lived was a reflection of pretty much the same kind of a demographic of pretty much every parish. A parish is like a state in the country, right? I would have to say that I can use from my observation and what I know about the country to say that Jamaica is more than 76% black. So I'm just saying that again to say that people for the most part, well, not for the most part, when it comes to a lot of things, you don't have to wait on a study. You don't have to wait on statistics to tell you the truth of what things are. Okay? You can just decide what it is or assume what it is. Okay? Maybe your assumption is not going to be accurate, but it will be close to the actual thing based on what you observe. Okay? But those are numbers. I'm talking about actual something that is more, we're talking about looks here. That something that is more, how do I explain this? Related to being able to use your judgment from your eyes. Okay, when I'm in Jamaica, I could stay in Jamaica and decide that based on how many people I see that is black on average, that it's probably this amount of the country is black. Okay, so that's a number kind of a game. When we're talking about something that our eyes see, as far as looks, um, I definitely even more do not need a study to tell me that. I don't need a study to tell me what's beautiful. That's what my eyes are made for. So I'm gonna need that Asian doctor to have a seat. But my um my thing is people like them, people who are these official people and these experts and these and these professionals and experts and people who study stuff, whatever they call them, you know, they're not exempt from having an emotional system. They're not exempt from trauma. They're not exempt from pain, and they're most definitely not exempt from having a dark side and an ego, and something that is, and anything in your consciousness that is responsible um, for judging people a certain way, for having envy and jealousy and a mean streak and lust and all these other so-called dark qualities that a human being um, um, has inside of them. Um, yeah, so these people, their degrees and their credentials and their expertise and their qualifications and their sophistication and their whatever else does not make them like an exception to the rule when it comes to the human consciousness and the human beingness of being a human that has a dark side that exude these dark qualities. And so I'm saying this to say that this doctor is no exception to this rule. And the reason why he came up with this study is because he has something against black women. And one, the reason why I say this is years ago. Okay, so don't go looking for it being a recent thing. This stuff happened years ago. But what I did wrong was I was saying that maybe it's the same doctor. It's the same person. I don't even know if a doctor. If it's the same person that God Sod was just talking about on Joe Rogan show. Um, okay, I hope I didn't lose my train of thought. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Um, mm, yeah. So this guy is a is a gay Asian man, and this is something else he said. He also said, you know what? I'm gonna say that allegedly he said this because I heard this from somebody else. I didn't read it anywhere that he definitely said this. But I'm assuming that it's true because in around the time it was more one person that said this. But he allegedly said that on the flip side of that, black men are the most attractive. That is also up for debate. But um, but my thing is, he's a gay guy that thinks that black men are the most attractive. In my mind, this is a gay Asian guy that has a preference for black guys, and because he has this preference for black guys, he has a disdain and he has something against black women because that's what happens when you like something. Okay, you usually have a kind of a either a jealousy or you feel threatened by the thing that is the somehow, like in this case, you'll feel threatened by the women of the group if you like the men of the group. You know, if you're an outsider, I don't want to use the word outsider, but for lack of a better term, if you're an outsider, you feel threatened by the men. I mean, it goes both ways too. So yes, if you have like, because I've dated and been with non-black men, and I've seen this little thing that one particular one would do is when I when if we're hanging out and a group of black men come around or one black man come, all of a sudden he gets all affectionate with me, trying to prove himself, trying to prove something that I'm like, what the fuck? Why are you doing this? But that's what it is. It's like when you're a non-black person. I mean, it happens for every race relating to other race. But in this case, when you're a non-black person and maybe you either have an attraction for black people of the opposite sex or same sex, because in this case it's same sex, um, you're going to have simultaneously, not all the time, but for the most part, simultaneously have um, this disdain for the women in the group or the men in the group, depending on your gender. Okay? So in his case, he had something against black women because he sees black women as his competition. And some people might say, well, oh, he doesn't see black women as his competition because he's gay. So we would probably see other gay men as competition. No. There's a lot of gay men that has a fantasy of being with straight men. And I promise you that most flamboyant gay men probably want a really manly straight man. Or at least a really manly man. It's just that it doesn't really exist a lot in the gay community, right? And so he more than likely have, and he doesn't even have to have a thing for a really manly straight, a really manly black man and or a really manly straight black man. He could just like any black man. And because or maybe he's been with some bisexual black men, and he now that's really competition because now he's competing with the women in his group and the men in the group for that man, right? So that's where that is coming from, and I refuse to be told otherwise. Nobody is gonna probably tell me otherwise, other than maybe the people in the comment section, because most people don't even probably remember the freaking. Most people probably don't even remember the study and remember that whole thing, right? So, yeah, I'm gonna need that doctor to have a seat. That's the whole thing. It's not because it's not because some study can prove that black women are the least attractive. It's because he just wanted to make sure he hurt. And I'm not defending anything in particular. I'm not saying black women are the least attractive or the most attractive or not or in between. I'm not making that statement. My whole thing is to to show people how some people are full of shit and use, their try to push a kind of a personal thing that is personal to them. That their hurt feelings stuff. What's that word I'm looking for? Is that they have a personal vendetta against certain people, and they can't say that. And so, because they have the professional thing to back them up, and the whole I am an expert, and oh, I have credentials, and so I can do a study that tells me what race of woman is the most or the least attractive, and people are going to fall for it because people are followers and sheep, and people are don't think for themselves, and anything that anybody that they believe is smarter than them say is what they're going to believe. So this is he's just trying to hurt black women's feeling under the guise of some stupid study. So that's my stance on that stuff. Now, can I go back to talking about I went on a tangent, right? I went rambling on this particular thing with this Asian doctor because the whole premise of the video was to make the point that because you were born in a particular race, it doesn't mean and it doesn't guarantee that you will naturally find the people in your race attractive. It doesn't mean that you will naturally love the people in your race. It doesn't mean that you will naturally feel like these people have a kind of some kind of affinity or some kind of even a connection, an emotional connection, or a any kind of a connection to the people in your own race just because they're in your own race. You know, in a perfect world, which would not be a perfect world, or for some people in a perfect world, that would have been the case. And I don't think that world would be perfect. Why? Because I don't think that people grouping up in a race and deciding that this race is my race and I'm only going to look out for the interest of my race, which that's what most people are doing, whether they admit to it or not. I don't think that that's a positive thing. I don't think that that's a healthy thing, and it's deeply negatively racist. And I say negatively racist because I don't think that every kind of I don't think that every kind of racism is necessarily a kind of a deeply sinister racism. And the reason why I say this is because I believe that, here I go again on a tangent, digressing or whatever. The reason why I say this is because I believe pretty much anything pertaining to race is going to be racist. That's what I believe. I believe anything pertaining to race is going to be racist. Race is, some people might say, oh no, it's not racist, it's racial. It's racial and it's racist. But you know what? It's racial because when you talk about, if you're talking about it in a sentence, if you're talking about it in concept, it's a racial thing. But your emotional and visceral respond to it is racist. So I don't think that you could separate. I don't want to say it that way. I don't think that anything that is racial can just be racial and not be racist. It's going to be racist on some level. It's going to be racist as it relates to your emotional system and as it relates to you emotionally and your response to it emotionally. So any visceral emotional response to anything racial will be racist. But again, I'm saying this to say that there's some things that are deeply negatively racist and what's that word? Nefariously, can I use that word? Racist, or has a more sinister racist meaning, and some things that are more somewhat neutrally racist, some things that are more um, not as, it's just like when people are use the word nigger, and if you're talking about the word nigger in a sentence to make a point, that's not necessarily positive or negatively racist. Okay, but some people don't want white people saying the word nigger on whether it doesn't matter the concept, the concept, not, it doesn't matter the context of what they're, how they're using it. Some people don't want them saying it anyway, and I'm saying even though people's visceral and emotional response to race is going to be racist on any level and in any form, it's not deeply a sinisterly racist thing to use the word nigger in a context if you're trying to make a point. Am I even allowed to say the word nigger in this context? Am I like, can I say it? And I'm black and I'm not calling anybody that, and I'm not even white calling anybody that. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say it in the context that I'm saying it. Okay. And so that's what I'm saying is that not every kind of a racism is a is a uh, is a deeply sinister, evil kind of a racism. Okay, because I believe anything pertaining to race is going to be racist, but it's not always evilly racist. Now, why did I ever started talking about this? I forgot. I'm not going to lose sleep out of it because of it, because this is one reason why I struggle to I struggle to to be able to convey make my points and convey them in a nice, fluent, and seamless way on the camera and on in any way, in any shape or form, when I'm on the internet trying to make content, is because I'm constantly judging what I do. So I'm just gonna let that go. Why did I ever go off talking about this so much? I don't know. Anyway, I think I said all I need to say about. I didn't say it all. I have so much more to say. I just can't think of it right now. But I'm very proud of myself that I this delivery was pretty solid, and I started it right away. So I'm gonna start doing that whenever I feel the inspiration to say something. I'm just gonna say it. And nowadays they're saying you could totally um, download your live stream and edit it in your editing thingy, in your edit software. So I'm looking forward to that. So I'm thinking my channel is gonna start doing better these days. So it's gonna be cool. Anyway, y'all have a fun time. Kevin Jackson, are you still there? If you're still there, then I'll take this moment to answer your questions because I'm in a good mood right now. I'm in a good headspace. So why not? Are you there, Kevin Jackson? What's my preference for what? What's my preference for what? Are you there, Kevin? I'm assuming the other person is Kevin and that other person is that one person is always watching. No matter what I do, I could go for hours with the streaming, right? And there's always one person watching. And I don't think it's the same one person. I don't know who it is. I assumed, I think yesterday or the day before, that it's somebody I knew. It has to be somebody in my family or somebody that knows me, that is subscribed to my channel. But this is always this one person. They never leave. That tells me that this person is. It tells me that this person is watching to see what happens. So Kevin Jackson, if you're there, go ahead and let me know what you're asking. You have like 1 minute, exactly 1 minute. When the clock strikes 6:31, I'm gonna end the stream if you don't answer me or somebody else gonna ask another question. So let me just sit here and see. Mom, do you want dinner? Mama? Ma? Okay, Kevin Jackson. Oh, it's not. Okay. You have 30 more seconds, sir. What's my preference? Okay. Let me just type it in. I don't know if he's going to see it. Are you asking my preference for race of men? What does that mean, pin message? What does that mean? What does that mean? Okay. Okay, bye guys. That's it.